What's going on, everybody? David L8 here, and I think I just broke the internet, and I'd like to share with you the exact same benefits. And so what do I mean by this? If you're somebody who's working in the real estate industry, and you're either an agent, an investor, or wholesaler, or somebody who just enjoys automated processing, then this video is specifically made for you. And so over the course of about maybe 4 to 5 months, I've been putting together a piece of software through Excel that would allow me to automate certain tasks. Those tasks include both acquisitions and dispositions when it comes to real estate transactions. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my inbox with my Gmail account, because yesterday I had sent out 60 offers, 60 letters of intents to properties that were listed through the MLS by agents. And these offers were professional LOIs that were written up to a personalized email, and the email itself, as well as the offer letter of intent, this was all automated and all sent out to the agents in less than a minute. 60 offers sent out to agents on the MLS in under a minute. And so if you're a wholesaler and you're struggling with just putting together 5 offers a day, then this is a perfect piece of software for you that would really allow you to accelerate everything from acquisitions to dispositions. Even if you're an intermediate investor or wholesaler, I think this would provide a tremendous value to you. So let me pull up my inbox so we're all on the same page here. I'm going to minimize myself on the screen, and I'm going to pull up these emails that were sent out yesterday. I think that's a good enough size. So let's go over to my sent emails in my Gmail account, and we can see here that I had multiple properties, 60 properties that were being sent out for subject to and cash offers. And if I click on any single one of these, we can see that it had agent's name, a body paragraph, terms of the agreement of the purchase, meaning EMD and days for due diligence, as well as a personalized letter of intent. And these personalized letter of intents were all attached automatically to each personalized email that the seller or the agent was receiving. And so there were 60 offers sent out yesterday, all under a minute. This is my sent inbox from my Gmail account. So you can see that there are multiple properties here that are being targeted with personalized information with the LOI and the agent or seller's name. And if I head on over to my inbox, you'll then see those replies from yesterday and today, I believe. And we can see here that we were getting feedback from the agent, and that we were actually having a conversation through an email that was automated through Excel. Very cool. If I get over to my sent email box again, about a week ago, I had done dispositions for a property over in McDonough, Georgia. And on that property over in McDonough, Georgia, I had disposed the property for an assignment, and I had disposed over to 300 buyers. 300 buyers were contacted through an email blasting, an automated process through Excel, through my software, the Jericho. And I'm going to show that to you right now. Let me pull that up. I believe it starts here. So this was a property over in McDonough, Georgia for dispositions. You can see here that I'm starting to get a group of emails, 69, 23, 2, 3 bundled up emails. If I go over to the next tab, we have 16, 18, 2, 7, 23, 16, 48. These are all bundled up emails, of which that each buyer had their name specifically on that email itself with a personalized address, a personalized body paragraph indicating, hey, we have a property that's made available right now over in McDonough, Georgia that we're trying to dispo. Would you be interested in purchasing this up? And we have an attached PDF with all the property information regarding it. So I'm going to pull that up right now on my screen. Here it is. So this was the property that was being disposed at the time. I think this was about 2 weeks ago. Imagine sending out 300 emails through Excel and having to send out 300 attachments, or having to write the buyer's name 300 times. That's not going to be fun. And so I automated all of this through Excel. So for me, it was a huge help in dispositions, and I think it would be a huge benefit to anybody who's in the real estate industry. And so you can see here that just on these bundled up emails that I was getting reply backs from a couple of buyers. This was over on May 22nd. So this was about 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So now I'm going to pull up the Jericho software, which does the automation for you. And so if I minimize the inbox, here it is. There's multiple tabs being shown, but I promise you it's not super scary. It's actually really simple. There is a tutorial vid of how to use this software with the calculator or the LOI generator itself. This software is in the video description below. So just click on that link. It'll bring you over to a website and you can download it from there. So on the first portion here, this section here is going to allow you to pre-qualify your leads. I see a lot of investors and wholesalers not taking the time to pre-qualify a lead. What do I mean by pre-qualifying a lead? I mean quickly knowing whether or not that this is a deal worth pursuing. And I've automated that through a stress test here on the right-hand side. And that stress test is going to allow you to know if this is something that should move forward to the next step for a full underwriting, or if you should pass and move on to the next property. I've also included something here for the seller to visually take a look at your offer compared to a conventional offer. So if you're doing cash, that's fine. But I think it was really important to show the positives and the negatives to a seller when they're accepting something that's a little outside the norm, in this case, a creative offer. So we have a section here to compare both a conventional offer, cash, or a buyer coming in with a mortgage, right? That would be conventional, or a creative offer where you're coming in sub-2, novation, seller finance, or a combination of the three. So this portion here, this is going to cover your pre-qualification of your leads and your sub-2 acquisitions. You have a seller finance portion here that's going to allow you to underwrite these types of deals. And then you have another one here for hybrid acquisitions. And I've also included something specifically in the tutorial videos for this calculator, this LOI generator, for reverse seller finance. This is not something that's taught here on YouTube or really by any investor or wholesaler out there. This is a completely different way of looking at seller financing. And that's a proprietary method that I am including with the tutorial vids with this calculator. So what I want to do now is I want to show you the power of the automation. I think showing you the power of the automation would really show you just how powerful something like this can be. So we're going to head on over to this tab over here. This tab here is a list of leads. And so you could put all of your leads on these cells. And if I move myself over to the left-hand side, I've got a function here that's running a macro in the background. And that macro is going to allow you to automate and create letters of intent for cash versus sub-2. And so right now, the last time I checked, I think I had about between 45 to 48 properties that would make a really good candidate for subject-to transactions. And what I think would be helpful in terms of a visualization is I think I'm going to show you all these LOIs being auto-generated at the exact same time. So this is my folder that I keep the LOIs in. And so I'm going to expand this just a little bit. And when I click on this button here, it's going to go through this list of leads that you have personally recorded yourself. And it's getting categorized either by subject to, seller finance, combination of the two, or cash. And if it's a subject to transaction, then you can automate your LOIs through this. And so if I pull up that folder again, in probably about a minute, you're going to see a list of LOIs being auto-generated. So let's click on this button right now. All right, it's being processed. You can see my cruisers loading like crazy. And you're going to see that every single LOI is being dropped in this folder. Pretty cool. I've never really created something like this in the past. I am not a programmer, but I was able to figure this one out just through previous coding experience that I do have. And I think this would be a huge benefit to anybody who's doing creative finance or somebody who's just sending out cash offers. Having the ability to auto-generate your letters of intents and then send out those letters of intents automatically through an email, through Excel. And by the way, you don't need to be connected to the internet to continue on with your work throughout the day. I think a big problem with CRMs that I'm seeing, there's a lot of them out there, you need internet access to use that CRM. And there are a couple of websites out there that will create an LOI generator for you, but it's not the same. This literally just finished. So I think we have, let's highlight this, 49 or 40, let's actually, I included the folders. 47 items, 47 LOIs generated in under a minute. That's pretty cool. And now that saves you probably about 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes per LOI that you are trying to personally, manually construct when this could just be automated. So huge benefit to you. But as I was saying before, I'll pull one of these up. An issue with the automated systems that you see there online for CRMs, you need access to the internet to continue on with your work throughout the day. What happens if you don't have internet access? You're stuck. You can't access your CRM. You can't create any LOIs. With a system like this is completely independent of the internet. If I lose power, I can continue to manually look over my CRM and make sure what's going in and out of the pipeline, and I can continue on with my underwriting. And then when internet is restored, I can just send out my LOIs with one click of a button. And not only that, let's say, for example, you are someone who's working a 9-to-5 job. I think a lot of us, when we started out in real estate, we had this perception that if we made the offer, if we took the time out of the day to create that offer, that we immediately had to send it out because it was made. And we didn't want to sit on it, right? With something like this, you can sit on it. If you have a couple of hours of the day only to create an LOI, but you have more free time throughout the end of the day to then send out those offers or to review them, then you could do the work necessary up front and then just send out the email later with the attachment, with an auto body paragraph that's complete automated to your liking. Huge benefit, so many different ways. This is the LOI that I wanted to quickly show you right now. It's a professional looking LOI. You can customize this to however you want. I try to keep mine, as simple as possible. I don't like to put out too many details, just enough where I don't confuse the seller. Again, cash versus creative. When a seller is hearing you talk about creative finance, a lot of them don't know what that means. So a confused mind will say no. So when you are making offers, try to keep your wording simple, and let them contact you. Let them contact you, have a conversation on the phone with either the seller or the agent. But this is an example of an LOI that was just generated, literally a super professional LOI. If I click on any one of these, they're all going to be different because the math is being done for you according to the specifics of that individualized property. So I'll just scroll down again, and you can see here that the numbers are completely different property address, different offer being made for that property. So pretty cool. Now what I want to do is show you an example of those same LOIs being sent out via email. And I think the best way to do that is through a blasting of emails. I have a feature here on this auto generator where you can blast out your emails all at the exact same time. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to change this display to true. By me doing that, you'll be able to see the email pop up before it arrives into my inbox. And we're going to start on row 87. So I'm going to change my starting row to 87. And when I click on blasting of email, this will pop up. Let's see. It's loading right now. Looks like we're missing an attachment here. Let me go back here to my LOIs that were made from June 5th. I'm going to copy and paste these. That's probably the issue. These are some older LOIs that I have constructed. I'm going to delete this. And then we're going to paste our new LOIs into here. All right, that should solve the issue. Let's exit out of that. And let's click blast email. There we are. So you can see how quickly the email just auto-populated on itself. So we have either the agent's name, the seller's name, an individualized body paragraph. You could say whatever it is that you want. You'll have a drop-down selection of different body selections that you want to choose from. A little bit about information about the property in terms of due diligence, EMD, how they can get in contact with you. And every email will have the ability to have an embedded photo. So if you have a company logo or just some photo that you want to include that personalized because it's coming from you, you can include that in your email. And you can see here that the attachment was also included. So if I click on the PDF itself, there it is. Voila. We have cash. I think on this one here looks like it's a seller finance deal. So this is a cash versus seller finance deal. And all these numbers, all the math is being auto-generated for you. So super helpful. You can send out a ton of offers at the exact same time. Send it out to that individualized agent name, seller name. You can include somebody to have CC'd on. The body paragraph itself will include the property address that you are referring to as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to exit out of this. And I am going to change the display to false because I do not want to crash my system. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send out all these emails at the exact same time, and I'm going to send them all to my email address, and you're going to see that being as an incoming stream. So when this does happen, you'll see the agent or seller's name in the email with the property address that I'm referring to, as well as the PDF that's being attached. So we have about, let's highlight this right now. Looks like we have about 61 emails we should be receiving. We're going to have a starting row of 27 as our starting row. And on here, I'm going to put a time delay for, let's say, 3 seconds. So every 3 seconds, I will receive an email in my inbox for that particular property. So let's change this to a 3-second time delay per email. It's good to incorporate that because when you're sending out blasting of emails to on-market or off-market, you don't want to get flagged from your service provider, whether you're using Yahoo, Gmail. I like to use Gmail. So having that time delay prevents you from being treated as a spammed email. And you can also go to a couple of different websites that will verify the email that you're being sent out, and it'll actually look over the subject line and the body paragraph, and it'll highlight for you certain keywords that are being treated as a spammed potential email. So if you want to check your emails beforehand, before they're getting sent out, you can do that. Because there's a couple of websites out there that will provide that service for you for free, where you can basically just verify that your email is not being flagged as spam. So what we're going to do now is we're going to send out all these emails with personalized LOIs to my personal email. There's going to be a 3-second delay. So I'm going to click on the blasting of email right now. And then I'm going to pull up my inbox. And this is going to be a lot of emails coming in at the same time. I'm going to move this over to the right-hand side. And these emails should start popping in at any time. Here it is. 1320 is the first one. I'm going to refresh the page. Okay. So it was in a different section of my mailbox. So we already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 emails. Agent seller's name, the body paragraph of your choice, plus the individualized LOI for that particular property. So you're saving a ton of time by automating certain tasks. So again, you could probably do maybe between 40 to 60 LOIs a day if you had enough leads that were coming in. So if you have enough leads, you can certainly crank out a ton of LOIs during the same day. So if you're struggling with just getting out 5 to 10 LOIs a day, then this would probably be something that would benefit you, not only in the short term, but in the long term. So we're going to wait for this to finalize. I don't think it'll take too long. We have a time delay of 3 seconds per email, and we're getting about 60 emails that are going to come in. So what I'll do is I'll more than likely speed up this section of the video here, and then we will come back. It has finished the automating in the background. We just sent out 60 emails with the seller's agent name, personalized body paragraph, and the LOI attached. And this all happened within a couple minutes. Had I not put in a time delay, this would have been received a lot quicker. But for the sake of demonstration, I wanted to show you that that was an option. And so we just sent out 60 plus emails within a click of a button. So that's pretty cool. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to show you the Jericho system in a little bit more of a complete form. I'm going to keep it very basic because there's a tutorial video of how to use this along with the calculator LOI generator itself. And so here is the master tab. The master tab is going to include information pertaining to agent name, seller name, agent email address, their phone number, their property address. You'll have an option to include which types of body paragraph messages that you want to include. If we head on over to the rehab tab, this tab here is as it implies. If you're doing a novation agreement or you want to look at comps, we have a specific tab just for you, so you can calculate your numbers according to any type of repairs that are necessary in the property or look at comps. And now we have the 3 LOIs that are the main body of this LOI generator. So you have an LOI generator for sub 2, hybrid, and seller finance. Each of these has a cash offer associated with them. And you're going to be sending out professional looking LOIs for all of these options. And so if I do, for example, if I pull up that folder again, let's pull up the LOIs that were just generated. I am going to search for this property address, 208. Looks like we have a couple of them. I am going to delete these because of what I want to do is show you that you can also manually create the LOI yourself. I think it's deleted now. Let's try that again. Okay, it's deleted. Let's minimize. Let's click convert text to PDF. You saw that it just did a loading feature right there. If I pull this back up, you can see it just auto-populated. So you can manually create the LOI yourself, or you can automate the LOI being generated. You have 2 options. And you can also send out an email straight from here. So if you're ready to go and you don't want to wait until all of your other LOIs are constructed, you can send out your LOI immediately with the agent's name, if anybody that you want to CC, your body paragraph of your choice, an embedded photo. So if you have a company logo that you would like to include, you can include that as part of your embedded photo on the email, and the individualized letter of intent. So I'm going to exit that out. So 3 LOI generators. You'll have a credibility package here if you want to include that with your seller or with your agent. If you're an investor or you're a wholesaler looking to add more value to your end buyer, you can calculate your wrap and lease option projections. So any profits that they would incur on this type of dispositions, this is something that you could do ahead of time for your end buyer or for yourself if you're an investor. You can also included on this Jericho system is the ability to calculate the VA loan entitlement limit. So for 2024, we've included that as part of the calculations here. So meaning if you're talking to a veteran right now and they tell you that their house is $300,000 or they're selling it for $300,000 and they have a VA loan for $240 right now on the premise of the promised property, you can calculate how much entitlement is left. And for most states right now for 2024, they have an entitlement ranging from $766,000 all the way up to $1.1 million. But for most counties of the U.S., it's going to be an entitlement of $766, $550. So you can calculate the VA loan entitlement for them if you are talking to a veteran. And then my favorite part of the Jericho system is the dispositions, because that's really where the magic happens. And when you have a big enough buyers list, then you can blast out your emails as well through this tab. So this is a little breakdown of the Jericho system. This is something that was built. I hope this provides you a ton of value. It's provided me a ton of value. And you can find this in the video description below. I will leave a discount there for you. I think it'll be about 10% off. And pick it up while you still can. Super convenient. You can automate a lot of different tasks. And I think it'll really accelerate your acquisitions and your dispositions. So have a good one. Take care. And I will see you on the next video.
Yeah.